Alright, I'm making this video for my flyzone retract modification that I've incorporated in the flyzone Focke-Wulf 190 because it has very, very weak landing gear retracts. I got a set of removed ones right here. You can see the plastic in them. They're pretty weak. They break on moderate landings. However, the original weak point is the center link right here. That's what kind of made me start making these kits, is because I broke that one and then I made another one and then I broke this guy, and then my buddy has the same plane. He broke the top mount. Would be this one. This one's the old style. You can see it's already been broken off on one side. You can actually flip these to either side. Anyone doesn't know, to help mount, to get you by through a whim or not. But I went ahead and just made a set of those as well. So my little kit actually comes with this lower brace right here, 2-piece, this center brace right here for the linkage system, this middle one right here because, believe it or not, I've broken these guys too, and that's also 2-piece, and then it'll come with this top guy as well. Let's see if I can get that in the picture. So yeah, this side has them all on it. Tough to see in there, but it's in there. They're all on it. They close pretty well, they work well, and they're very strong. I've been asked how durable are these things. Well, I've yet to break these guys. The only damage I've had, because I'm not the best of lander, I guess you'd say, is it'll crack right here from very heavy landings. And I'm talking heavy landings. So anybody else out there, hey, you can see this one's pretty good. You can see it separating right there. It's barely evident on the top side. All I've been doing is putting a light amount of hot glue in here and calling it good. You can use whatever type of foam safe glue you feel like using. But anyways, let's get to the nitty gritty of how to get this upper brace out. No, you do not have to remove the landing gear unit out of the wing. I removed this one out of another one I have, and I turned it into a bomber and used the landing gear servo and all that stuff for a bomb bay kind of setup. So anyways, this one here is removed, and I've already used my Dremel with a cutoff wheel to lightly cut this groove in here on either side. And once again, this one is the one that's been modified, obviously. And you can see a light little mark I got right here. I got a little happy. So just take your time, and you know, you'll be fine. You're not going to be able to cut all the way to this edge right here. You're not going to be able to cut all the way to that edge. So what I do is I take an X-Acto knife and I actually just lightly put little cuts in there. What you want to do is you want to make one cut right here with your wheel, and you're going to go down until you can lightly see it's a copper pin that's in there, a copper colored pin. So you're going to go down until you lightly can see that. You obviously don't want to cut into it. You can see it on that side. And then, as I said, you'll take your X-Acto knife and just lightly cut until you're all the way through, just about, on both sides, inside and outside. And then I take a very small flathead, and you can just lightly pry on this and it'll open up. This one I've already removed it to kind of make this video faster, but you would pry on that and slowly work these corners up until you have this entire little piece out right there. Okay, and then you'll be left with something like this, and it's all just the bottom half, and your strut and all that stuff will still be in here. Let's see if I have one sitting around my pile of stuff. So you'll still have your strut actually in here. Some planes, the glue, I've noticed, hasn't been holding, and these will actually just come right out if you kind of wiggle on them. But this technique to remove them works as well on this part right here to get your upper strut out. Keep in mind you want to keep the paint that's on here, or this coating, intact as much as possible, because my kit the measurements are designed, you know, to actually hold on to this guy right here. I've had a few that this is kind of wearing off on, and when you crimp down on these guys, this will lightly spin. Same thing with this upper one. To fix that, I've just been taking a light amount of Scotch tape and wrapping it around once or half, whatever was needed to make it secure and not move anymore. So anyways, once you get this top part off right here and kind of get it out of the way, you can just take and lift this guy up. Mind you, this is all on the wing and with two hands, a little easier. And you're just going to pull it basically up and out and then up again, and you'll be left with this little pin that's in there. You can see mine's a little goobered up. I did this one really fast just because this one's obviously never going to fly again. But just take your time on yours. The ones that are in here, when I first did it, they actually came out pretty good. However, these are my dummy wings. Not necessarily that I don't use them, but I use them to make all my kits, to make sure that every kit is working and opens and closes the landing gears properly, so they'll fall in, you know, and you get good. So everything just looks nice and smooth and works in here. Yeah. So this is one of my better ones. I've made about 6-7 of these kits so far and sold them. Probably more I've actually made, but the ones that I've sold. Get in here. I don't have the servo hooked up, but so yeah. A few tips that I wanted to put out there that I usually just specify in an email, but to help anyone out. A couple of them I've actually done it differently. I've done a screw from an opposite side or whatnot, but this one is done exactly how the factory was that I can remember. This right here has threads cut into it. They're 2mm threads. So anytime you're dealing with these little tiny 2mm threads in this aluminum, they are not crazy strong and they can't handle a lot of torque. So just anytime you're torquing down little screws, just keep in mind that they're not very strong. So don't go crazy on that one. However, I do recommend that you run a blue Loctite in this one. Obviously don't get it on the plastic. I'm not certain if it will eat it, but anytime you put some certain chemicals on plastics, I usually don't agree. So just go ahead and get your blue Loctite on here. Sometimes you can just put it on and kind of let it dry, and then put your screw through. This one right here, and you would feed it in. And this one, it's not needed. You can see that one's countersunk, it looks kind of snazzy. But this one's not needed because it's going into plastic, obviously, so you're not going to put, once again, you're not going to put Loctite on plastic. Plus the Loctite acts as a natural locking feature too as well. You know, you can go ahead and run Loctite on this upper one too. This is the upper mount one, it just crimps that together. Loctite on that guy would help out as well. That one's into plastic, not worried. This one right here is an actual hole for your landing gear doors themselves. So these guys, when you make these things, you can actually adjust them. So if you get this